Fight fans, welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Champ. I'm your host, Coach Dale. My next guest is a former W.B.O Jr Welterweight Champion of the World, Bronco McKart, aka Superman. Champ, welcome to the show. How you doing this morning?
My man, great to be here. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh man, Bronco, I we had the pleasure of last Friday. We were on the show with your manager Jackie Callan um, in boxing. Man, it was incredible um, to see you there. I was like, hey, I know him. I know him, and we had a great discussion on the show. It was awesome. Um, so, champ, tell me what you've been doing with yourself lately.
I'm keeping busy. I hold down a job here in Monroe at the Monroe County Road Commission as a supervisor, which I oversee like 7 or 8 of the 15 counties that we have here in Monroe. Any road-related issues, deal a lot with township supervisors, the local police departments, things like that. It's great for me because I'm out in the public dealing with people a lot, and I'm also a boxing commissioner for the state of Michigan. Actually, it's not a boxing commissioner here in Michigan. It's called the Unarmed Combat Commission, where we do boxing, MMA. We're getting ready to bring in kickboxing. We've been working on a lot of different things here in Michigan. I do real estate. I have my hands in a lot of different things, but everything is going well. I try to take the same approach I did in boxing. You just focus in and you get the job done one at a time.
Absolutely. Champ, you're a four-time Golden Gloves champion in the years of 86, 90, 91, and 92. And you went on you had a amateur career of just about 35 fights. You won your first state title in 94 in Detroit. And then you went on to, you won a WBC Intercontinental title in 94 as well at the Foxwood. You fought in many places, champ, and anybody that's been a student of the game has either watched you on ESPN or Tuesday Night Fights or whatever the case may be. Tell our fans what it was like back then and your most memorable moments in the fight game.
Well, what's funny is, every generation before us, no matter what we're talking about, oh, you couldn't have done this in my era, you couldn't have done this in my era.
Right.
And I like to feel like, our era, the late 90s, early 2000s, that was kind of the last era where, hey, fighters just fought each other. We didn't go on YouTube and research them and see what colored socks they wore and how big their shoes were and what kind of gloves they were wearing. Right. We just said, hey, you got to fight, let's fight. And I came up under James Toney, who was a guy that, used to always say, the only thing I turn down at night is my bed sheets. I don't know if that was his line or not, but I took that mentality with him. So I was able to, when I was coming up as a contender prospect, mm-hmm. I was fighting all the other prospects. I was fighting guys in the top 15, top 20, which, making my way through, which a lot of fighters don't do that anymore. They just pick their way up, get 20 something wins or less. Right. And find their way to a world title. Right. And we just didn't have that option, I guess, back then. We were fighters. We just fought.
And that's something like I want to commend you on, too, going back in history, because I try to pride myself on being a student of the game. You're not a guy that fought like once a year. Like you fought multiple times, and working your way up the ladder to be known as a worthy contender. Not a funny story, but what was it like? I know you had fought Aaron Superman Davis.
Ooh,
and, yeah. And a lot of fight fans don't know. Aaron Superman Davis and Bronco McKart, a.k.a. Superman. So what was it like for you fighting him,
Well, see, so when we went there, Aaron and his people were just, boy, they were just jawing at me, my dad, my brother. And here's a great story that I don't know that I've ever shared this story I'm going to share with you next. So the night before the fight, my dad said to me, you know what, champ, I just got a feeling that they're going to try to do everything they can to keep you up all night and make sure that you don't get rest for the fight. I was on different floors than my dad. Okay. So he said, let's switch rooms and we won't tell anybody. You take my room, I'll take yours, because I just got that feeling. I said, okay. So sure enough, they ran by my dad's door all night, beating on the door and doing different things. And my dad never one time got out of bed, never answered the door. just laid there, right? So the next morning he told me, he come down, he was tired at breakfast, and he told me, he said, man, they did that till about 2, 3 in the morning.
Wow.
That's when we got him then, right? But when I fought Davis, when we went at the weigh-ins, I remember, because I didn't have the nickname Superman at that time.
Wow.
So they said, Bronco McKart and Aaron Davis to the scale, and I jumped up really fast. And I said, will the real Superman please stand up? And he didn't really like that too much. And we had a heated battle. And the funny part about that fight was, I figured my goal was, we're going to fight pretty good for the first 6. And I told my dad, and I never been past 6 going into that fight. Okay. And I told my dad, once we get to the 6th round mark, I'm taking off on him. I'm going to break him down. Right. Well, his thought was, this kid's never been past 6 rounds. Wow. When we get to the 6th round, I'm breaking him down. So that fight just kept going and going and going and going. There was no letdown rounds. We had an absolute war. It was a tough, great fight.
Yeah, you fans out there that want to reminisce about a great fight, look up Bronco McKart and Aaron Superman Davis. You will be in for a treat.
Yeah.
You turned around and then you won the Covenant W.B.O title from Santos Cardona, TKO.
Yep.
What was going through your mind, and how did you land that fight?
Well, I was the number 1 ranked contender, and the actual champion himself at the time was from overseas, Paul something. It'll hit me, but he didn't want to fight me, so he basically vacated the title, right. And then it became me and Santos Cardona. Crazy part about that was, almost 4 weeks before the fight, one of the papers from overseas calls me and says, so how do you feel, that you're not fighting so-and-so and you're fighting Santos Cardona? I said, what are you talking about? I don't even know about this, right? I called my dad. I said, hey, newspaper just called me from overseas and told me I'm fighting Santos Cardona and not the guy I'm supposed to be fighting. My dad's like, what? So making all these phone calls. It's not like then you could just jump on something and find it, right? Fight news and all that. So sure enough, it was already set up and we didn't even know about it. But the great thing about that fight there for me personally, that was the biggest victory, not just in the ring for me, but just in life, because my grandfather, who was one of my biggest fans, my mom's dad, he passed away about a year before that fight. Wow. And I always told him, I said, someday, Grandpa, man, because he was a big supporter. I said, I'm going to be world champion. You're going to be there. You're going to be there. And then when he was getting sick, I said, hey, Grant, I promise you I'm going to win that world title and I'm bringing that belt to you. Wow. So when we were going into training for that fight, I had 7 shirts made, and it was a picture with T-shirts. It was a picture with me sitting on my grandpa's lap. He was a big jovial guy, and he was laughing, and I was laughing too, kind of hugging him. Right. And I had the number 4-U, just said 4U on my shirt, and I had 7 shirts to train in 7 days. Right. And the night I won the world title, we slipped that T-shirt on with the 4U on it. I was very emotional, cried real heavy, not just because. Not because I won the world title, but because I kept a promise to my grandpa, who was no longer here to see it. Wow. And awesome. we flew back to Michigan. Me and my uncles went out to his gravesite, laid the belt on his tombstone, and just told different stories of all the different fun times that we had with him. We reminisced for about an hour, kept it private. Our local newspaper wanted to, because they all knew that that was my promise, and they wanted to be there. And I just said, no. This is something for me and my family. I don't want anybody there for this. This is not a showcase. This is legit family stuff. And it was great. It was the greatest moment. I honestly, when I see the clip, the highlight clip of it, I'll cry every time because it just brings me to that moment. Sure.
And that, like you said, that had to be like the pinnacle, of your success in the sweet science, and that was awesome. In your first title defense, you fought Ronald Winky Wright.
Who's that? My man, Wayne. Come on, man.
Let me tell you something. 2 southpaws going at it, man. Listen, I love Winky. I think you beat him the first fight. That's my opinion. I think you beat him. I think you beat him. No more on him. But, here's a guy, once again, Winky was the type of guy. Not too many people wanted to fight him. Not too many people wanted to fight. He had to go overseas to get a lot of fights and stuff like that. But you stepped up to the plate, not once, but 3 times. Yeah. Nothing against the pugilists that are fighting now, but you don't see these kind of trilogies anymore. Like you said before, there's a different mindset, and I know, it's big money and stuff like that. But besides that, there's a different type of mentality from the fighters of the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Totally different mindset. And he went ahead and fought him 3 times. How was the preparation for him, and was that something that you wanted to fight him, or because Winky was no pushover.
Yeah, no. Well, how'd that go? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Somehow we got kicked off.
Yeah, no, that was Winky.
Oh yeah, see, talking about it, he got hot. There we go. So, the first time I fought him, Winky was the number 1 contender, but we could have. I think we still had the option to kind of loophole around it. But to be honest with you, in my heart of hearts, I said, I'm the champion. Let's get number 1 out of the way first. That was the mindset. A lot of people are like, I don't know if that was a good business move. Well, see, that wasn't a business move for me. It was a fighter move. I was a fighter. I want the number 1 guy. And then I knew back then, had I beat Winky, that next 9 was gravy for me for the ride through. I felt in my heart, not to say that it would have been, but I felt in my heart it would have been. And me and him during that little time span, we were the 2 guys that were making our way to the top. So we just had to keep fighting each other. And I don't regret fighting him 3 times. Matter of fact, we developed a good friendship through fights like that. And funny story is, this girl I used to date, me and her and her family went down to Florida and went on. I met up with Winky while I was down there. We went out and played some golf. And Winky, rented. I didn't bring my club, so he brought me to his place where he golfs, and he got me some cheap clubs. And I'm going to say that cheap clubs. I swung a 5-wood. I swung a 5-wood on one of the holes, and the head went farther than the ball. And I was like, "Damn, Winky, really, man?" But anyway, so I get back to the hotel room, and girlfriend and her family's all sitting around. She said, "Well, how'd it go?" I said, "Man, listen, that guy is a better golfer than he is a boxer." I said, he got me on the golf course. She's like, "Babe, you got to beat him at something." I was like, what? You kidding me right now? You just said that in front of everybody. Man. Oh, man.
That is too funny. Champ, you've noticed you fought. Oh my goodness, you fought at you fought in Vegas. You fought at some of the Foxwood resorts. You also fought at the Blue Horizon.
A couple times.
Let me tell you something. I don't even know. I think Russell Peltz was during that time. Man, let me tell you something. If you've ever been to a fight, man, I don't think there was one empty seat ever at the Blue Horizon. That was it. That was the spot to go. I mean, I know you fought at the Garden as well too, but man, there was something about fighting, at the Blue Horizon. What was your favorite venue to fight at?
I honestly love the Soaring Eagle Casino in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they treated. I mean it's Michigan, but they treated me like gold there. They really made me feel above and beyond. You know what I mean?
Right.
But but to go back, it was to say for myself personally, and not like this, but more like, man, this is a blessing. Right. Is to say that I fought at the MGM Grand in Vegas, Caesar's Palace, the Blue Horizon, Madison Square Garden. Right. I was blessed to have my feet in the same building that some of the greatest fighters in the history and era of the sport fought in. So to be a part of that, for me personally, as a guy from Monroe, Michigan, I love it.
That's awesome. You turned around and in your career, once again, to reiterate, you were a type of fighter that didn't, lay back 7 or 8 months. I mean, you were coming back like after 2 months, fighting again, and you dropped some, you lost some, and back and forth. When did you decide that? I think in your last bout, you finished your career with Tony Harrison, correct?
Yeah.
At that point in time, when did you decide this is it? I'm going to walk away from the sport. I've accomplished. I've done what some dare to dream. So, but when did you decide that was enough for you?
In all honesty, all honesty, probably I should have retired right around the age of 35.
Okay.
You know, I waited till I was 43. And the reason I say 35 is because when I was in the prime of my career and really doing things, I never missed a day in the gym. I mean, I would have to be like something super sick. I mean, I've gone to funerals or trained in the morning, gone to funerals in the afternoon, and went back to the gym that night because you didn't miss for any reason. You know, you were just, you know, like the show must go on, and I was just so focused. But then there was times where I would think, you know, I'm a little tired today. You know, if I do little today, but double up tomorrow. You know, right when I started having those thoughts, you know, but you know, I was trying to capture that lightning in the bottle one more time. I just wanted to feel like I could at a later age. And when I was getting ready for the Harrison fight, actually, I was sparring this young kid in the gym. He was an amateur, but he was a good amateur. And I was baiting him, setting him up on some moves, and I was doing some things, and he bit the bait. And I went to shoot my left hand, and he shot a right hand, and it landed like his mind. Right. But he didn't realize it. Nobody really caught it, you know, because it didn't like do anything. It was just, you know. But I went home and I was laying in the chair for like 2.5 straight hours, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out every reason why that landed before mine did, because I was trying to find an excuse. And then I said to myself, "Your time. It's time, man. I should have just called it off that night. I knew in my heart of hearts that once you lose that millisecond, and I probably lost for years before that, but I didn't realize it until that moment. Right. And you know, like I try to tell a lot of these young fighters that are fighting nowadays. When I was fighting, you know, you got to go to you because that's what I did. Right. So when I was fighting, I would fight a Tuesday night fight. Right. I would take Wednesday and Thursday off, and I was back in the gym Friday. Yeah, because I was learning my craft. Right. I didn't fight a 4-round fight, act like I did something, go out and celebrate with my boys. I didn't do that. I didn't hang out. You know what I mean? I didn't hang out in the bars. I didn't hang out in the clubs. I was boxing. I was living it. So when I see these kids on TV, some of these young up-and-comers fighting 6-round fights and beat a guy that, you know, in all honesty, my oldest daughter could probably beat, and then you run around, you know, and you run around like you did something. I was just always a realist. I had one goal in mind, and it was to be world champion. Nothing else mattered to me. Nothing else was acceptable. Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you, champ? I probably already know, but this is a rhetorical question. What do you think about the state of boxing as far as your division goes right now? You have one of the main fights that should have happened that's not happening is Errol Spence against Terrence Crawford. I don't know why that fight is not happening. It's a travesty for it not to happen. I'm not taking anything away from Pacquiao, but to quote Spence, he told Crawford, listen, when you get a title, I'll fight you. He got the W.B.O title, and all of a sudden, he's reneging on his promise. To me, in my opinion, listen, you can't claim to be undisputed if there's a title still out there. Undisputed means there's nobody else that has anything that you haven't gotten. You know what I'm saying? So it would be undisputed. What are your thoughts on that? Tell me.
You know, it's disappointing because it's one of those things where, again, you got a lot of this and a lot of this. Right. You ever seen that video where they've got these two dogs in a sliding gate? Man, and they're just yipping and yapping, and the gate starts sliding. When it's just them, they stop. Then when the gate goes back, you know, it's kind of like this. You see all this Facebook, or not Facebook so much, Twitter and Instagram, all these big battles. I mean, some of these guys are the undisputed Twitter champions of the world, but when it comes time to actually fight each other, you know, they don't jump in and they don't do it, and that's a fight there that's very disappointing for the boxing public, because that fight should have taken place. Right. And that fight is the only fight in the last so many years that I could actually compare to like a Hearns Leonard kind of a fight where it was the two young best guns in the division, and they're just going to do it. Right. You know, because they've been looking for that. Every big fight that's taken place in that division, they tried to compare it to that. Right. When De La Hoya fought Forte, you know, that was like Leonard Hearns, and so I mean, all these, you know, but there's not out there. But this fight was the fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I think it's a travesty. They're denying the fans, what they want to see. And I don't think it's, and I could be wrong. I don't think it's so much on Crawford's end as it is on Spence's end. Because listen, I'm like this. If you could lowball someone out of a fight, give them pittance, and then they're not going to take that fight because listen, I'm a champion too. Why would you try to do that? But if you have 3 titles and you can beat this guy, listen, give him what he wants, prove to him that listen, this is what I said all the time, and now you can go after anybody you want to. Now there's no asterisk against your name as far as you beat this one, you beat that one, but you didn't beat who the fans wanted you to fight.
See, that's like Canelo Alvarez right now. He is seeking greatness, right? Because he's taking on everybody, and then when these fighters are trying to find ways to get out of the fight, like the last guy, we won a 24-foot ring, and Canelo said, "Give it to him, give him." I don't care, you know what I mean? So and then Caleb Plant, I just heard, I don't know how true it is, but like Caleb Plant asked for 10 or 12 minutes, whatever he asked for, and Canelo said, "Give it to him, give it to him," because he wants all the belt, he wants undisputed, no questions asked. He's seeking greatness. These other guys are just, you know what I mean?
Seeking a payday, exactly.
Right, and when you're great, right. when you achieve greatness, they can't take that away. Your bank account could flip tomorrow.
Right.
The market could crash, whatever.
Right.
But greatness will be attached to your name throughout all history.
Exactly. So I'm gonna jump a few weight classes. So as you know, there's tentative schedule with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. What are your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's going to go the same way as the second fight. Okay. I think Tyson Fury's going to come out, muscle him around, use his size advantage, push him back. See, because when Tyson Fury got dropped in that first fight, and he got up, I don't know how, but he got up.
Right.
And when he got up, he came back fighting stronger, and he pushed Wilder back. Right. Wilder was lost. And like at the end of the fight, we're all talking about it. And I said, he just figured out the secret. Right. He knows. He pushes this guy. So when that fight, the second fight, bell rang, boom, he was on him, started pushing him back. Right. Wilder was lost.
Wow.
So I think he's going to get him this time too.
Thanks. Okay. Well, you'll have to come back on the show and tell me if I'm wrong. I think, true character is formed through adversity. Sure. And if anything is in Wilder, knowing, I think it's more than just, him being beat. I think his pride was hurt and all these other different things. And I'm not going to go into speculations of what did and what didn't happen. But right. what makes a champion or able to rebound to become a champion again? I used to tell my amateur fighters, listen, whether you win or lose, you're always supposed to learn something about the fight.
Yep.
So it'll be a matter when we'll see on July 24th if Wilder has learned anything, and hopefully he has. Turning back,
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I'm even gonna take a PTO day and call out because I want to have that day set. Nothing but getting ready for that fight. Watch, my boss will be listening to it. Won't give it to me off.
Right.
But another kept secret about you that a lot of people don't know. Ray Leonard was part of your management team, correct?
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, I was with Sugar Ray Leonard for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, great guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing but great things to say about Sugar Ray Leonard. Always was very stand up, straightforward, honest. Never tried to hide anything. I love that guy to death. I had the ultimate respect for him as a young kid coming up. Him and Tommy Hearns, of course. Tommy Hearns being from Michigan, love that guy.
Right.
But I tell you how much. I told some guys this yesterday. I said I love Tommy Hearns so much. We've been friends for 20-something years. But as a kid coming up, I said I love that guy so much. And then when I was getting ready to sign, hey Tommy, just want to let you know I had the opportunity to sign with Sugar Ray Leonard. I respect you enough to give you a call and want to know what you think about it. And he said, man, just go out there and make your money, champ. And so I wanted these blessings.
That's
But Sugar Ray Leonard is top notch, man. One of the best. I love that guy to death.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, champ, I know you got to get back to work, and I think I just lost you again.
No, I couldn't turn my airplane mode off, so I'm getting calls, of course.
Okay. Well, champ, listen. Thank you for being on the show. Much love and much respect. Do me a favor.
Pleasure.
Send me. Can you see my wall back here?
I can.
Okay. What's missing?
My picture.
Let's make it happen. Give me your address. I want to send you a token of my appreciation. Love for you to come back on the show. You're welcome anytime on Coffee with the Champ. Keep doing what you're doing. Much success in the business aspect of boxing. And just keep me posted, man. And we'll talk about the after on the 24th and stuff like that. But I'll send you my address next time you come on the show. Your picture needs to be right under your manager here, Jackie Callan. But always a pleasure, champ. Much love and much respect to you. And have an awesome day, and can't wait to have you back on the show again. You take care.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a great time. Thank you. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, champ. All right, fans, that concludes another edition of Coffee with the Champ. I am your host, Coach Dale. Always been a pleasure. Write comments, write reviews. If you like what you saw on the show, hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and if you have any questions or concerns, or maybe someone you'd like to see on the show, reach out to me. Would love to try to make it happen for you. Until then, hang out, have a great day, and be ready for next Friday. I don't want to tell you who I'm going to have on the show, but I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Take care. Much love and respect. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in for Coffee with the Champ.